They were trained, uniformed, and ready. But by the end of the war, every record of their existence vanished. Not because they died heroically, not because they failed, but because someone, somewhere, decided the world should never know what happened to them. Before we go deeper, ask yourself this. How does an entire regiment, hundreds of men, disappear from history? No graves, no medals, no archived reports, nothing but a faint mention in a forgotten diary. If you've ever wondered how war can erase not just lives, but entire identities, stay with me. Because once you hear how this regiment was wiped from memory, you'll understand how fragile truth becomes in the hands of power. Imagine being a soldier, believing your story will be told, only for your existence to be deleted as if you never walked the earth. That's the fate of the regiment we're exploring today, a unit whose disappearance was so complete that historians once called it a military ghost. And the reason they vanished is far darker than you think. Their story began in 1915, when war raged across Europe and nations scrambled to fill their ranks. This particular regiment, whose original name was deliberately scrubbed from official records, was formed quickly, assembled from small rural towns, far from the eyes of major cities. Many were farmers, miners, young clerks, and teachers who believed this was their one chance to serve their country with honor. Early photographs show them smiling, lined up shoulder to shoulder, rifles over their backs, unaware that they were stepping into a chapter of history that would be rewritten without them. At first, they weren't chosen for anything special. They trained like every other battalion. But something changed the moment a mysterious high-ranking officer visited their camp, a man whose name appears nowhere except in one surviving field notebook. After that visit, the regiment was quietly reassigned to a strategic reconnaissance operation near one of the most heavily fortified enemy lines. No official briefing, no press coverage, and most disturbingly, no backup. Survivors from neighboring units would later say they watched this regiment march into the mist-covered forest at dawn, the entire formation disappearing between the trees. Their boots thudded in perfect rhythm, rifles strapped tight, helmets gleaming in the morning fog. But by nightfall, not a single man returned. Search parties were sent the next day, but what they found made no sense. Their camp was still intact, tents undisturbed, personal items scattered as if they had left in a hurry, half-eaten breakfast on metal plates, steam still rising from untouched coffee. There were no signs of struggle, no gunfire, no blood trails, no bodies. It was as if 700 men had simply walked into another dimension. The official report filed afterwards, the only one that survived, was chillingly brief. It stated that the regiment was presumed lost in enemy action. But that conclusion didn't match what search patrols saw. The enemy lines were miles away. There were no shell impacts, no craters, no smoke. Even the birds remained strangely silent, as if nature itself refused to speak about what happened. Then something even stranger happened. The regiment's files disappeared. Their names were removed from deployment lists. Their officer records were retyped without mention of the unit. Families who sent letters received responses claiming their sons had been moved to classified operations. Those who demanded answers were told to stop asking questions for the sake of national stability. It was a cover-up, the kind that only happens when something catastrophic or unforgivable is being buried. But history leaves clues. And this story might have remained lost forever if not for a discovery made in an abandoned French farmhouse in 1996. Beneath loose floorboards, wrapped in a rotting uniform sleeve, was a field diary belonging to the regiment's captain, one of the only artifacts proving the unit ever existed. His final entry was written just hours before they marched into the forest. "We have been ordered into the valley. The men sense something is wrong. The maps do not match the terrain. Coordinates altered. Command refuses explanation. If this entry is found, tell the world we did not walk blindly." That was the last sentence he ever wrote. The diary reignited interest among historians. They retraced the regiment's supposed route, using old maps, letters, and what little survived. What they discovered was horrifying. The area the regiment marched into wasn't a battlefield. It was a testing zone for a classified wartime experiment, hidden from the public for nearly a century. The experiment was intended to break enemy lines with a new kind of weapon, something unstable, untested, and catastrophically dangerous. The regiment had not been sent there to fight. They had been sent there as a human shield, meant to observe the effects of the weapon's deployment. But something went wrong. Terribly wrong. The blast that followed was so violent that witnesses miles away described seeing the sky tear in half. The weapon malfunctioned, detonating far beyond its expected capacity. Everything in the valley, trees, rocks, soil, and every living thing, was vaporized in a moment. There were no remains to recover, not even fragments. And because the weapon was illegal under wartime treaties, the military erased every trace of the regiment to hide their involvement. Their names, their reports, their families' inquiries, all of it buried so the truth would never surface. For decades, the valley was marked on maps only as restricted. Even today, the soil there is unusually metallic, and animals avoid the area. Nature remembers what history tried to erase. But the final twist comes from a document uncovered in 2011, a declassified memo revealing the chilling orders issued after the explosion. All records pertaining to the reconnaissance regiment are to be destroyed. Public knowledge of the incident poses unacceptable risk to national integrity. That single sentence explains why no one mourned them, why they vanished from archives, and why their sacrifice was never honored. An entire regiment, erased to protect powerful men from the consequences of their decisions. Today, historians call them the Vanished Battalion. But the truth is closer to the Silenced Regiment. Men who followed orders, marched with courage, and paid with their lives, only to be deleted from the very history they died serving. Their story matters because it exposes a brutal truth. In war, memory is not a right. It is a privilege granted or denied by those who write the records. And for these lost soldiers, remembrance was taken away until now. This is their place in history restored. This is their story unburied. And as long as their names echo through channels like Relic Remnants, they will never be erased again.